Good morning. Hello, Carolyn. Hello, Stan. Say hello to Eleanor for me. And hi, Lynn. How are you? Getting ready for the holidays. This morning I was making pie crusts. And then I also have turkey stock or bone broth, turkey bone broth for my turkey gravy. And then I made pie crusts, which are not gluten-free. So I don't normally eat a lot of the stuff for Thanksgiving because I try to do dairy-free, gluten-free. Hi, Lynn. Good morning. But I've got about 25 people coming this year. So lots of choices for everyone. So anyway, that's what I've been doing all morning. All right. So is there anything you'd like to chat about or discuss or let me know is going on with you? I think that what I've been trying to focus on right now, because it is Thanksgiving, is number one, the word thanks or gratitude. And I just sent out a newsletter this week where I actually looked up the definition of grateful. And it was amazing to me because it's actually an action word or a state of being. And so I found that to be really interesting, that because it really is like that is why I say you've got to take your doses of vitamin G, gratitude, because there's actually a shift in our brain from one center to the other. Either we think we don't have enough or we have enough, don't have enough, have enough, don't have enough, have enough. And it's happening all the time. And that's what's really happened in these past few years, where there's been a lot of polarization, maybe in the world. I know definitely in the US, where we listen to what we listen to, we believe wholeheartedly in whatever the messages that we're receiving, right? And so everyone believes what they believe because of what they hear. And that there's a lot of stimulation, I think, happening for people out there of not enough or scarcity. And so the opposite of that is having enough or gratitude with what you have, being okay, being content with whatever you have in your life at that moment. And in that moment, you actually go to a center in your brain where this miraculous body can heal. So many of us have issues, maybe even all of us. And if we have chronic stress over time, there's a wear and tear in our body. And that leads to diabetes, heart disease, cancer, a lot of the dementia, a lot of the ailments that we have, these chronic inflammatory issues, is because the brain or the body doesn't have enough time to repair and to heal. So believe it or not, what we watch, what we listen to, and how we feel and how emotional we are affects our health. Maybe immediately, but definitely in the long run, 10 years, 15 years of that chronic stress response. So taking a dose of vitamin G of gratitude and to feel that at this moment, like for all of us, for those of us that are here now, and if you watch this recording, at this moment, gratitude that we have this wisdom, this practice to move our body, to move our joints, to increase the range of motion, to stretch our body, to increase mobility, flexibility, range of motion. How amazing is that? Because if we don't, we start off as juicy grapes and we could turn into raisins, right? The aging process is to go from a juicy grape to a raisin, oxidation and dehydration. For all of us, I don't care who you are, you don't escape some things. However, we could stay grape-like. All right, so today's practice, I guess, will be grape-like and grateful-like. That's a good one. All right, so anyway, lower back, Lynn. All right, yeah, me too, because of all the standing and cooking and all of that. All right, so I'd like you, before we do anything else, I want you to be wherever you are and I want you to close your eyes. So whatever's around you, not trying to get anything yet, not trying to do anything yet, being wherever you are, closing your eyes. Because when we close our eyes, the optic nerve stimulates 80%, up to 80% of the stimulation for the brain comes into the visual field, what we see. And that's going to keep us safe by letting us know, do we have enough or do we need to get more? So the scarcity trigger or the enoughness trigger, the eyes have a lot to do with that. So let's close our eyes and let's go inside. Let's go up to the command center, the brain. And maybe we've been chronically stimulating the back of our brain, our primitive limbic brain, keeping ourselves safe, in quotes. I'm going to put that word safe in quotes, because the brain doesn't know if it's real or perceived danger. And I think the fear of the future is a big one, right? So right here, right now, where you are, I want you to bring your awareness down to your feet. Bring your awareness to your left foot and then to your right foot. See if you could feel the soles of your feet, the toes. See if you could feel the top of your feet, your ankles. And see if you could feel all the stuff that's taking place there. Millions, trillions of actions taking place. Your cells are busy making energy, each and every one of them, replicating all the organelles. The aspects of your cells are doing their job, whatever their job is. See if you could be aware of that happening in your body right now. And then scan your body, go up and down, go to the places where maybe you do have issues. You have stickiness, tightness, pain, discomfort, nerve impingement, the part of you that is usually a little sticky. And then take your whole entire torso and push your torso back. Because most of us live very forward. We have a very tight front body and we don't have our weight back far enough into our back body. We're usually very forward. So push your body weight back and see if you could feel anything happening when you do that. And then bring your awareness to your hands. Take your hands, rub your hands together. Bring your hands at your chest and then move them up and down a little bit. The eyes are closed. Feel the sternum bone. It's where the thymus gland is, where part of our immune cells are created. The heart is here, beating all the time, all day long for you. And behind that, the lungs. Lots of important aspects of our health: immune, respiration, and cardiac. Cardiac health, delivering all the nutrients to every cell in your body. That's a transport system. Push your hands into your chest strongly. Feel how that actually takes away some of that pressure in the upper back between the shoulder blades of holding your heavy head on top of your body. Push your head back, slightly tuck your chin down, slightly as in 1/2 of an inch, so that the back neck elongates. And then push your pinkies together, your ring fingers together, your middle fingers together, your pointer fingers, and finally your thumbs, the heels of your hands and your entire hands pressing into each other. Take a big exhale. Mouth is closed. Breathe in through your nose deeply, all the way down to your belly. Do that again. Down to your belly. Last breath down to your belly. Before you open your eyes, find 3 things in your life that you have to be grateful for. It could be that we have this amazing wisdom practice of yoga, the lessons that teach us to stay present moment, that raise our awareness to what really matters, whether that's the physical body or for the really deep healing, which is the mind. The bed you sleep in, the house you live in, the food you have, the people you have in your lives, the life you've created up until now, all of that. All that you have to be grateful for. Bring your awareness to your eyelids. Press your hands together, press your hands into your chest, and gently blink the eyes open. however long that was minutes of healing that your body was able to do. When you were in your feet, in your ankles, in your body, feeling, noticing, sensing, you were not in the part of your brain that takes up so much of our time and our attention. We freed up healing energy. So do that whenever you need that. Come to present moment, feel your body, whatever it is you do, bringing yourself. One of my teachers said, we go from an elevator from here to here, take the elevator down into the body, move from the back of the brain to the front of the brain, and do a little healing. All right, so for today's practice, I would like to begin with a lot of support. So I have 2 bolsters. You may not have bolsters, but you probably have a lot of pillows or blankets. And if you have those, that'd be really great to give you a little support. I'm going to use one for underneath my legs, and then one I'm going to use supported. So we're going to need a block for today's practice and a strap. So we're going to use these in our practice, and we're going to use a blanket as well. So those 3 props at a minimum would be the blanket, the block, and the strap. And then I'm going to be beginning today in an elevated position. So this bolster that I have, this is my personal bolster. The brand is Hugger Mugger. Highly recommend it because the integrity remains forever. And I own a lot of bolsters and have used them in a lot of workshops and classes. And these maintain their integrity. So I recommend, they're close to $100. So it might not be feasible for you. You could use blankets and pillows. You don't have to have a bolster. This is another bolster I bought, which was a lot less expensive, maybe $30. And it's caving in the place where heads would be, or tushies if you were putting this underneath your pelvis. So I think it's worth getting the extra bigger bolster. And this is going to go underneath my knees. The good thing about putting something underneath your knees, especially those of you that have low back issues, is it relieves the pulling on the low back. So putting something underneath your knees, whether that is a rolled up towels, blankets, pillows, whatever, this part is really great. I'm going to begin elevated, just allowing my body to slowly. And you could use a blanket on your head. For some of you, that may feel a little more comfortable to have a blanket behind. I think I'm going to actually use it in my feet because my feet are feeling a little cold right now. And there's something so about wrapping your feet up. And I'm not sure exactly what that is, why. I will say that the nerves terminate down in the feet, and that in yoga, that's where the energy channels begin, is in our feet. But what I also think about is, if you think about stories from ancient times, definitely biblical stories, and probably from other cultures, that when someone had traveled a far distance to visit, when they came, one of the things that people would do is give them a foot bath and take care of their feet. And there's something so beautiful about that. So anyway, I find that having my feet supported or wrapped up feels really delicious. So the block is behind the shoulder girdle area. It's the big bony structure, right? You've got clavicles, shoulder blades, upper arm bones. So wherever you put your block behind you, have it close to the shoulder blade area. So not just up by the head, because then you'll get a cave in of your chest. We do not want that. And then you're going to bring your arms out to the side. So these blocks and props, you could put blankets. And just notice how nice this is. It's also great if you have glaucoma or headaches or any kind of sinus issues, because you'll allow gravity here in a supported, restorative way, allow lots of stuff to come down. And I'm thinking of lymphatic fluids that are in the nasal cavity. And then because I brought that up, I think I want to do a little something I haven't done in a long time in my classes. And since we are coming into the cold season, lymph only moves through massage and movement. So when we're moving our bodies, we're helping our lymph to flow. And then when you get a massage, And lymphatic vessels are very close to the surface of the skin. So massaging the skin or moving the skin actually helps to move the lymph through the system. You to bring your fingers up to underneath your ears, where your ears attach to your body. Now, nobody has ever taught me this. For some reason, I found this and I feel like it's very effective. So the eustachian tubes and part of the canals that drain from the ears are right back here, like deep in the ears. So right where your ears attach to your body and you feel your skull, like the edge of your skull. So there's like a little like place where those meet. Take your fingers, press your fingers in there, and then move down, slide down towards your thyroid glands and your parathyroid, towards your neck, pressing and moving down. And maybe you actually feel that you swallow something, some stuff. So whenever I'm feeling not good, I do that. I try to assist my body in moving the lymph. So the lymph is part of the immune system, and it only moves through movement and massage. And then actually the lymph drains in the circulatory system to be cleansed and then to be redistributed to the lymphatic system. It dumps into the left part of the body, right by the aortic arch where the aorta is. There's an area there where your lymphatic fluids dump into your system to be cleansed. So let's take our fingers now and start to use your fingers to come down your neck. I like to do this lying down as well, because I think for a lot of us females, I don't know about you men, but aging definitely shows up on the neck, and we never as females want to move down. We've tried to go against gravity and wrinkles. So I know that like movements downward, they always say don't do that, because you don't want to contribute to your skin drooping. So here when we're lying down, we're kind of going a little bit more horizontal, not so much straight down. So take your hands and then bring the pinky edge of your hands and start to press down your neck. And then maybe you're going to feel yourself swallowing some mucus. Now, I'm sorry if that sounds gross, but it's actually a self-protein and it will be digested in your stomach. So I'm just the messenger here. And then keep going down. And then when you come down towards your clavicle bones here, use your fingers again a little more gently, using your fingers. And you just assisted the lymph that was coming from the upper part of the body down to the area where it's going to go back into the system to be cleansed. And then take your arms out to the side. Feel your shoulder blades on your prop. Feel your pelvis supported. Your hands are out to the side. So some of the most beneficial things we could practice in yoga are anything that brings us to present moment, anything that stops the mind from being crazy, thinking of the past or thinking of the future, and being in this present moment. That's where the value is, the healing value. Bring your awareness to your jaw. Wiggle your jaw back and forth, side to side. And then let's open your mouth really wide and close it. Go really big. See if you could hear anything in there move when you stretch, moving the temporal mandibular joint where the jaw and the skull attach. And then stay open. And now close your mouth and clench your teeth. Take your teeth, push your teeth into each other. Clench. And then release. So I like to do that because I specialize in bone health. And when we create compressive force to bones, we ask for more than usual. Then the bones respond by laying down more bone tissue, right? So that's what we do in the body. Well, I want the jaw and the mouth right? Where the teeth are attached to be nice and strong as well. So I like to do that clenching action, intentionally putting more force and pressure in my bones. Of course, there's no studies or research being done, and I have asked both the orthodontist and the dentist, and of course, they don't know the answers. They probably think I'm a Looney Tune. But I know that if we demand more from bones, we get more from bones. So clenching, but not moving your teeth back and forth, just putting a force in your jaw. Let's do it one more time. Strong force. And then release. Bring awareness to your cheeks. Let your cheeks be really soft here. Let the lips touch. The teeth are not touching. Let your tongue rest in the lower jaw. And then take your tongue and move your tongue around in your mouth. Take your tongue to the top of the roof of your mouth and press the tongue into the roof of the mouth. Press the tongue in different parts of inside your teeth. And then let your tongue rest. Bring your awareness to your eyes. Eyes are closed. Could you relax them just a little more? Let the eyeballs sink deep. And bring your awareness to your eyes as you squint. Keep the eyes closed, but squint. Feel the muscular action. Squinting. Squint, squint, squint. And then slowly, slowly, slowly relax. I want you to think about the aperture of a camera where it opens and closes. And I want you to do that with your eyes. We're going to do 2 more of those. Squint, really, really tight, tight, tight. And then slowly, slowly open. And one more time. And then let your eyes relax. Feel the relaxation in your face, your tongue, your jaw, your cheeks, your eyes. Bring your awareness to your nostrils. Let's take an elevator down into the body. Begin to follow the breath down to your belly. Feel your belly rise and fall. Take 3 more breaths down to your belly. Try to breathe backwards towards the floor or the prop if you have something behind your back. finishing your last breath. Bring your awareness to your fingers, to your toes. And then start to move your head side to side. We're going to do it with breath. So inhale, center, and then exhale, let your head slowly all the way as you exhale to one side. Inhale back up. Exhale all the way to one side. You inhale back to center, you exhale to the side. Bringing yourself back to center. Bring your hands up, clasp your hands behind your head. Take an inhale, press your arms back. As you exhale, just moving your neck, not your chest. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Bring your elbows towards each other. Lift the head off of whatever you're on, but do not round your rest of your spine, just your head and neck. Feel that stretch going all the way up and down your neck to the low back, to the back, maybe even to where the shoulders are. Maybe some of you feel it all the way down to the low back, but don't bend your spine where your rib cage is, just your neck. You inhale to open, and you exhale to bring your elbows towards each other, chin towards the chest. One more, bring your chin towards your chest, stay here. Elbows are towards each other. You can hug your head with your arms. Chin is towards the chest. Stretching your back, your neck, all the way down to the middle of the back. And then open up. Take your hands, move your fingers. Look at your fingers. Eyes are open if they're not already. Look at your fingers. 27 bones, 27 joints. Look at that top joint. Is it bending? Bend it. Your next one, your knuckle, right in the middle of your fingers, bend it. Now your thumb can join the party. Maybe even notice some forearm strength here. And then bend, do like a duck, like as if you were going to be talking in the shadow where the light is, and you're acting like you're talking, like a shadow theater. Notice how just doing this, I don't know about you guys, but I definitely feel how much work that is for my forearm to do this. Because I have my hands up. Less blood is there. Maybe that's part of why it's a little challenge. All right. We're going to come onto the side, and then we're going to bring ourselves all the way up. So far, we have done head, neck, and brain, a head and neck and brain practice. So yoga for the head, neck, and brain. So we did a lot with the mouth. Actually, it was a physical therapist that taught me that, using the tongue to press up the roof of the mouth and then different places inside, because there's fascial wrappings all the way down in the connection down your spine to your pelvic floor. So we were using the tongue. And then for the other part of that, the sensory cortex in the brain, if you look at the sensory cortex, there is a lot of neurons dedicated to lips, to tongue, and to hands. So this hand movement, looking at your hands and bending all of that, yeah, I wanted you to lubricate your joints, strengthen your hands, and strengthen your forearms. But I also wanted you to be very, very in your sensory cortical brain, as you were when you were thinking of your tongue moving around. So far we've done a lot. We've drained our lymph. This was the movement I was doing here, getting to here, using my hands like this. These are all great self-care practices to keep this package nice and functional as we age. All right, so I'm going to move one bolster away. I don't know what you have. I can't see you, so I don't know what you have. I wonder if you do have a bolster. I'm going to teach this as if you do. If you do not have a bolster, take your blanket and roll your blanket up like that, like a tube. And if you do have a bolster, put your blanket in front of your bolster. Let's stretch our back. Bring yourself forward. Put your belly on your bolster, and it's the belly, so the legs are not really touching, or it's the top of the legs. Let the top of the legs touch, and then come to rest. We're stretching our back here because the back is in a flexion, extension position throughout the day. And this is actually putting it in flexion. So creating a nice stretch here in the back. See how that feels. And then reach your legs really long. Try different hand positions. See if you could put your forehead and your nose on the floor, and then reach your hands up, stretching the front and the back. And then in order to really stretch the back, push the pubis bone towards the blanket or the bolster, whatever you have. Take one more breath. So I don't know what you have, so I'm not going to stay there for too long. When I'm in class with people and I know that they have a bolster, then I'll stay a little longer. Roll onto one side so that your blanket or your bolster is in between the lower ribs and where the legs attach to your body, depending on what you have. Rest your head on your arm, reach your other arm up and over. Really stretch your body. The top leg, if you bring the top leg into a flexion, reaching the heel away from you, stay very linear here. You could either have a blanket rolled up, or you could have a bolster. It feels really delicious, stretching your midsection. Yeah, when I'm in class, I have bolsters, so I can put everybody in a bolster and do this. And then let's go on to our backs, so that your prop, now you pay attention to this here. Okay, start with bent knees. Everybody start with bent knees. Maybe you're going to bend your knees and you're going to be cascading your pelvis off the edge of your bolster, and maybe that's okay for you. Arms out to the side if you can, or up above you. And then we're pulling the low ribs away from the legs. Now, maybe this is good enough. Maybe knees are in towards each other because it's putting the back in extension. Some of you maybe are not supposed to do that because you have some issues that you've been told not to do that with, like spondylolisthesis or nerve impingement, slip discs, whatever, if you have something you know you have. So do what's appropriate. You could explore straightening the legs, see if that feels appropriate for you. What's good for the goose is not always good for the gander. So choose what's right for you. Point your toes, reach your hands away, stretching your tissues and using props to help. And then use your breath to help as well, breathing down to the midsection. And then let's go to the other side. So you're going to roll onto the side. I'll roll like this. And then you let your arm be up ahead so you can rest your arm. And then the arm in the air reaches up and over. Keep it on the side of your body. Take the top leg, flex the top leg, and reach the top leg away. Feel the stretch wherever you feel the stretch. Take one more breath. Let's bring yourself back towards your belly. And then bring your belly on the prop. Now, I'm doing this here. I hope you have things, you have a, not a bolster, not everybody will have a bolster, but even pillows, because it really is helpful to have that elevation. And I want to come into seal pose to stretch the front body. So take your hands wide. Now, the closer you bring them closer to you, if it feels okay to do so, by bringing that strong back bend into your spine. And having my pelvis be up against the bolster is very helpful for this. It releases some of the pressure. And then bend your elbows. Pull yourself forward with your torso and bring yourself up. Let's exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. We're contracting and releasing those back muscles, and we have some support there. And then bring yourself up. So bring yourself all the way up for a second. I'll tell you, this feels pretty good. So this will be a recorded class on YouTube on my channel. And so if you didn't have a bolster and you were going to get one, or if you could find blankets that you fold, because honestly, even two of these, if you take two of these blankets, you fold them and you put them on top of each other, they can act like a bolster. So I'm going to continue using the bolster, taking the bolster forward and taking my hands onto the ground so that my forearms are pressing up against the bolster. This is going to help to give more stretch for the back body, more stretch for the spine. Let your forehead rest on the bolster. The hands are on the ground. And what you really want here is to push your forearms into the bolster and let the weight of your pelvis be pulling you back. Maybe you feel a stretch underneath your arms. Maybe you feel a stretch on your chest. Let the weight of the bolster pull you back. And then when you're here, can you lengthen one side more than the other? Think about the center of your buttocks and push the center of your buttock away from you on one side, or think about lengthening your waist, pulling the top edge of the pelvis away from the lower ribs on one side, and then on the other. Small movement. We're in joints that don't have a lot of movement. The spine has discs between it. It's made more for stability and for mobility, but the mobility aspect is not quite the same as the shoulder joint or the hip joint or the knee joint or the elbow joint. So when you move side to side stretching, you're not going to get a lot. That's a lateral movement of the spine. You're stretching all the tissues that stabilize your spine. Exhale. Let's inhale forward. Come into an extension position. Open your throat, tailbone up towards the sky. Exhale, press your hands into the ground. Feel the forearms up against your bolster. As you come back, you should feel lengthening here. Maybe a stretch underneath the shoulders, the chest. I don't know where you're feeling it. Inhale forward, because we all have different issues in our tissues. But really creating a nice stretch for the torso to help and for lengthening the spine. Keep the front of your spine open, no pressure on the front of the spine. Last one. And then go ahead and bring yourself back. Woo! All right, continuing using the bolster. So I'm going to sit on my bolster. For those of you that do not have a bolster, you could actually sit on your block, and depending on the size of your tushy, you might need two blocks, right? So one block, it's pretty narrow. This is not very big. If you had two blocks, maybe putting two blocks together would be much more supportive. So depending on you and your body. So if you put a block there and you put the blanket over the block, you could sit on here as if it were a bolster. And that's actually pretty nice. I'm going to sit on the bolster because I have the bolster. And if I didn't have a bolster, I would maybe have some pillows. I'd like you to come and sit on your bolster. Sitting on your bolster. So I'd like us to do a crisscross leg for those of you that can. And when you're elevated, there's usually more movement in your body for this crisscross position. So it's actually relieving for knee joints and for hips. So see if you could come into this with the knees out. And of course, if you cannot, The other is to do Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, or to have the legs all the way straight. Finding whatever you need for you to be able to do your practice. So bring yourself here and then do a little back and forth, side to side, kind of settling in like a cat does. And then reach down and grab a hunk of flesh on either side as you pull your muscles, your buttock muscles back to expose your sits bones. You see, I say that lovingly because it is the largest muscle in the body. And you don't know how much of your tushy is muscle versus stored energy, right? So, because we can all be so hard on ourselves, especially this time of the year, because as it gets closer to winter, there's just this biological need for storing energy. So sometimes there's a little bit more weight that comes on or stored energy for the winter. So I say it lovingly. You don't know how much of that is muscle. All right. So here we are in our seated position. So we did a lot for head and neck and mouth and brain. We did some eyeball opening and closing for the muscles of the eyes. I'd like to do a little bit more with the eyes here. So look straight ahead, whether you could see me or not, just listen straight ahead. Now I want you to visualize that your eyes are like a clock. 12 is at the top, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is at the bottom, 7, 8, 9 over there, 10, 11, right? So your eyes are like a clock. Look straight ahead and then don't move your head, don't move anything. Slide your arms back so your elbows are underneath your shoulders and move your arms towards your body. That's going to set you up for success, posturally aligned. Look straight ahead. Now let your eyeballs look up to the 12, down to the 6, up to 12, down to 6, 12, 6, 12, 6. The only thing moving is your eyeballs. If someone were looking at you, they would think you're going crazy with your eyeballs moving around. Feel the tension in your eyeball muscles. Now close your eyes. Open your eyes, look straight ahead. Look to the 3 and the 9. 3, 9, 3, 9, 3, 9, 3, 9. Back and forth. Close your eyes. Take some breaths, let the tension release. Eyes are closed. Push your body weight back so that you're definitely growing out of your pelvis, and notice how often that's not the case. That body weight distribution piece is something you need to bring into your life daily, especially those of you that have low back issues, because the low back takes the brunt of where are you bending. And when we're standing or sitting in our bodies in a forward position, there's a lot of tension in low back. So push your torso back, push your head back. See if you can feel the back turning on. We need our back to be strong to hold us up. Back to the eyes. Open your eyes, look straight ahead. We're going to do diagonal. Look up in between 1 and 2, down in between 7 and 8. 1 and 2, 7 and 8. 1 and 2, 7 and 8. As if there was a clock in front of you. Nothing moves except for the eyeballs. And then close your eyes. Open your eyes. In between 11 and 10 and 4 and 5. 11 and 10, 4 and 5. 11 and 10, 4 and 5. And then close your eyes. Let the tension go. These are probably muscles that we don't use intentionally often like this. We use them all day, every day, to look, to see, to experience. Go ahead, open your eyes. Now do circles. Do counterclockwise first. Counterclockwise, circles. Someone would really think you're crazy if they saw you here. Now go clockwise with your eyes clockwise. Don't move your head, only the eyes. And then close the eyes. The practice of yoga, often, we create stress, create stress in our muscles, create stress in our nerves, create stress in our ability to deal with discomfort in the moment, so that we can then experience the opposite, which is comfort or ease. And then gently opening your eyes. Notice how the eyes feel. Probably a little bit like they were working, right? I definitely feel the muscular action. I haven't done that myself for a while. Let's take the legs straight. Shake your legs. Let your head go side to side. Side to side can be really nice to kind of clean the chalkboard, so to speak, or clean the slate. And then bring yourself back. Let's bring yourself into that crisscross position. We're going to stretch now a little bit more this part of our body using body weight. So we did our eyeballs, we did our head and neck. A lot of today's practice had to do with here, releasing, moving, strengthening, things that we normally don't even think of. So let's do a little bit more now to come down into this part of the body. So bring yourself forward and then bring yourself over to the side. Feel the stretch on the opposite side. Bring yourself back. When you bring yourself back, it's your low back I want to be back the most. You're not like this where your upper body goes back. And don't let this just be about the head. Then bring yourself over to the side. Let the majority of the movement be your rib cage. Your rib cage is going around in a circular pattern, floating above the pelvis in a bigger movement than it usually does. Bring yourself forward, inhale, bring yourself back. Really feel this stretch happening in the torso, especially those of you that have low back issues. You want to really keep the fluidity going here. You want your body to have more space. You want to release that tension of sitting, standing, moving. And then bring yourself back to center, nice and tall. I hope you feel something. I feel my hip stretch. I feel my waist stretch. So hopefully you're feeling that. If you need to change your leg position at any point, please do so. Inhale forward and then exhale back. When I first started practicing yoga in my 30s, so 20 years ago, I had a really hard time sitting in certain positions for a while. And actually, that's what a lot of the physical practice is for, is to make you strong enough and limber enough to be able to sit in a meditative position, to calm your mind, to deeply heal on a spiritual level. That's what the real intention is. So whether or not that's your goal, it's important because we want to be able to live our lives anyway and not have pain and discomfort. So a lot of the practice of yoga is going to strengthen your body to sit, to stand, to be comfortable. Inhaling when you're forward, exhale when you go back. One more circle. And then bring yourself forward. Let's take our legs wide. So take your legs wide and actually get your block, because I want you to be nice and tall in your spine here. So if you put your block between your legs right in front of your body and you push down, elbows are at the side of the body, push down with your hands. This can actually help to keep you upright. And your legs are to the side. And for some of you right now, this may be pretty intense. So The block could be a little bit helpful too, to make sure you don't give in to the tension that's happening in the legs. So maybe you feel this underneath your legs, maybe you feel this on the inner knee joint. This can be really great for knee health, keeping your body limber and not getting too tight in your adductors, which will put too much tension on the side of your knees and contribute to wear and tear in your meniscus. So making sure that the knee joint, the largest joint in the body, number one weight-bearing joint in the body, and a joint very susceptible to issues. Push your heels into the ground. For those that can come forward with a straight spine, go ahead. If you could bring your body forward a little. You don't have to, but when you come forward and add hip flexion, it helps to deepen the stretch for those that are a little more limber. And then go ahead and bring yourself up. Let's take one leg in front and the other knee is bent. And then actually bring your block. So bring your block here. It could be high or it could be medium or low, whatever feels appropriate to you. And then bring this hand in front of you. Look at your thumb. Exhale. And then inhale. Reach up, reach up, reach up. Open, open, open. And then exhale to come back. Now stop for 1 second because I want you to understand your spine here. The bend forward happens here at the hip. It does not happen in the spine. You want your spine to stay long. You want the front of your vertebra to stay open. So when we come forward, we're flexing at our hip joint. You're going to feel a stretch in that front leg. When you take your hand here and you open up, you're actually adding spinal rotation of the ribs. So there's a little bit of a flexion in the lower part of the body and then a rotation. Make sure you're not crowding and pressing into the front of your spine, especially if you have osteoporosis. All right, exhale, inhale. Feel your tissues stretch. Exhale, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, stay here. Breathe down to your belly. And then bring yourself back. Oh, I feel so much movement in my spine when we do this. So much movement. All right, let's switch. Leg is forward. Bring the block, whichever height you'd like. The other foot is into your leg. Take your hand on your block. Bring your hand forward. Exhale. Inhale to open. Exhale. Inhale to open. Exhale. One more. Inhale to open, long spine. Stay here. Breathe down to your belly, down to your spine. One more breath. And then bring yourself forward. Take your legs, take your feet, point your feet forward and flex. Point, flex, point, flex. Have your feet be a little wide. External rotation, internal. External, internal. Keep your legs straight, so no bending in the knees. Knees point in, knees point out. Think about, just let your knees do it. You don't even need to do the feet. Knees point in towards each other, kneecaps point out. Kneecaps point in, kneecaps point out, and that does the feet for you. All right, so let's go to a crisscross leg position again. Come side. We're going to do lateral. We're going to go side to side, coming side to side. If you could reach your arms up, try that. If not, hold on to your shoulder and reach your elbow up. So doing what's appropriate for you in your body with your issues. Make it be very much of an upward and side bend. This feels good, right? For those of you with low back issues, this is one of the best stretches to bring tension out of the low back. It's stretching the muscles in between the ribs and the top of the pelvis. In the back of the body on either side of the spine, you have 4 columns called quadratus lumborum. So lumbar, the lumbar area, quad, 4 of them. And there are 2 columns on either side of the low back that help to support. So when you do this, you're stretching them from where they attach on the top and on the bottom. And then bring yourself back to center, bring your feet together, and come forward to the very front edge of your bolster and stretch your inner thighs here. So whether the feet can come close to you or a little farther away. So a lot of those low back issues are held muscular tension from standing, from sitting, from having your head forward, from that compressive force. And then also there's a whole emotional layer depending on what, the weight that you carry on your shoulders, so to speak, the invisible weight. So taking the lateral movement side to side could be a nice way to release that tension. And then let's come on to a position where you take your bolster. So I do think bolsters are really fantastic to have, especially if as we age, because they really bring the floor to us and they're really nice. I do want to do a 1-minute plank because it's a really great way to strengthen the support muscles of the body, which are very supportive of the back. And they say that the core is the front of the back. So if this is an area you have issues, you want to make sure that this is strong to support it. I'm going to do a minute plank, and you could come down at any point, pointing the forward, pointing the 4 fingers forward. Take one leg at a time. Let's stretch our lower leg. Push your heel back. Stretch your leg before you come up onto them. And then do the same thing with the other. Really bend the toes and push the heel back. Feel that nice heel stretch. I'm going to call it nice. All right. And then you're going to push your foot into the ground and then lift the other foot up. Now, if this is too much for you, you could have your knees and your shins on the floor in a modification. And then begin by pushing the feet into the floor, 5 toes on each foot. So pinky toes are getting some play here as well. Really push through the center of your heels back. And then push your feet into the floor and feel like you're trying to slide them up towards your hands. And that actually fires up those deep flexors. Bring your awareness up your legs to your tailbone. Push your belly button towards your spine. Point the tailbone down in between the 2 feet. Bring your awareness up to your hands. Press your pinkies, your ring fingers, middle and pointer and thumbs. Really push your fingers into the floor. And then right where the fingers attach the palms, and then push the palms, really push away from the ground here. Find the length in the spine from the tailbone to the spine, all the way up to the crown of the head. You're as long as you could be. And then push away from the floor with the hands and the feet. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself down. So that was actually 1 minute, 10 seconds. Ooh, doesn't that feel delicious? I'm going to use the words delicious. Come here onto your shins. And I gave you a direction earlier of pushing your body weight back. So I'd like you to do a little of that now. Push yourself back. So you're on your body. I want you to push your body weight back. Feel here. Maybe there's a stretch. And lift your chest when you do this. Let your body be nice and straight. You're bringing your body weight into the back. See if you could feel stuff firing up here. And here. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's take your hands like this. So you clasp your hands, you put your hands together, and then you clasp them, but you let the pointer fingers touch. So the hands are clasped and the pointer fingers touch. And then take your arms straight up overhead. Of course, if shoulders won't let you do this, you could be like this and your shoulders could be leading the way. Okay? And then take your fingers and imagine that you're drawing a line back and forth on the ceiling. Try to get your arms between your ears between your arms if you can, and still look forward. Back and forth on the ceiling.
And then bring yourself back to center. Side to side. Like you're drawing a line straight across from side to side on the ceiling. And then circles. Don't go too crazy. And then another circle in the other direction. And then bring yourself down. Feel the shoulders. Let the ear go up towards the sky. Ear up towards the sky. So the other day, I did that little ceiling movement to try to free up tension when I was standing for a really long time. I found it to be very helpful. So I shared that with you today. All right. Let's take the blanket, put the blanket at the top of your mat, have your block and your strap handy. Bring yourself to the side, bring yourself all the way down onto the floor. And then let's bring the knees in. Once you get down, you're going to bring your knees in if you can. So if you could lift your legs up, we're going to unbend and bend the legs, warming up the legs to stretch them a little here. You could do one at a time, or you could do both. If your low back bothers you a lot, I would have the knees closer to my body when I was doing this. It doesn't matter how much of a bend there is in the knees. Just want to lubricate that knee joint, get the hamstrings to start being active and the quadriceps. And you'll feel the heat. Even though this is not weight bearing, it's still lots and lots of work for your quadriceps. And then go ahead and bring your feet down. Take your strap. Let's stretch the right leg, bring the right foot in, take the strap. Keep the left knee bent, left foot is on the ground. Take your hands around the strap and then draw the leg towards the wall behind you. Low back may flatten into the ground. That's okay. Many different ways to do this. I'm okay with that actually. And if you could have your leg close to straight, try that. But go into a place where you feel a lot of stretch behind the back of your body. Maybe the hamstring, maybe the glutes, starting to feel the glutes. And then let's switch, bring the other foot up, put the other foot there. Left leg is in the strap, right leg is bent, holding onto the strap. And then you're drawing the leg back towards the wall behind you, feeling the stretch, the back of the leg, maybe down to the glute. Now, sometimes tightness here can contribute to low back discomfort. I feel this for a lot of the males that I work with, is a lot of tightness in the glutes and the hamstrings that pull on the pelvis that affect the low back. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring your strap to the side, grab your block, bring your block in between your legs, then take your legs a little bit away from your body. Pick your pelvis up off the floor and tilt your pelvis so that your low back touches the floor, and then you really feel the top edge of your pelvis touching the floor. And then dig your heels into the floor, pick your toes up off the floor. Walk your feet so that they're about block distance, which is only 4 inches. Press your heels into the floor, squeeze your block. Flatten the low back, exhale. Inhale, lift your pelvis barely off the floor, peeling the spine away from the floor, and then placing the spine back down on the floor. So your feet are away from your body, so you're very glute and hamstring focused here. You're not so much back. You're more about the lower body here than you are about the back. Strengthening the glutes, strengthening the hamstrings. And I want it to be that you're peeling your spine. So there is movement in the spine to peel up and to peel down. Heels are digging in, toes are towards you. Last one. Bring yourself up, stay here. Dig your heels in, pull your toes up, push your heart forward. Don't let your chest cave. Point your tailbone away from you. Toes are pulling towards your knees, really firing up the front of the body. So we're going to take away the potential of cramping. Hopefully, those that are crampers, this will help not cramp because there's so much stimulation in the front of the body. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself down. Keep your block there. Draw your knees into your chest and draw the knees down towards the body. So you're going to take the arms out to the side. Hands are touching the ground. Bring your knees up to your chest. And then you're going to roll towards the side. Now, for some of you, you could go all the way to the ground, keeping your rib cage on the floor. For others, you may need to take the block out and put it underneath your legs or in between your legs to be more comfortable in this position. It's a twist. We're twisting your spine, stretching your back. But what I really would like is the knees to be high so that you're protecting that low back. And definitely use the blocks wherever you need them to feel safe in your body. You could take your right hand on top of the left leg. Legs are to the right. So take the right hand on the top of the left leg. Keep trying to get the left shoulder blade to touch the ground and let your head look to the left. Wringing out your body the way you would wring out a rag full of water. You want to compress, compress, twist, twist, twist. And then the left waist, make sure there's a lot of space there. So inside your body, push your pelvis away from your ribs. Take one more breath. We're going to go to the other side. So if you take the top knee and bring the top knee in, roll onto your back, keep the block between your knees, keep your knees very high as you roll on to the other side, placing the block wherever you need it. Take the top hand on the leg, the top leg, the hand on the leg, head goes to the other side. Breathe down to your belly. And then create space in your waist. So for those that experience sciatica, this is a great way to stretch the pathway that sciatic nerve travels down. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up to neutral. Bring your legs and your arms in the air. Shake, 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 shake. And then bring yourself into Shavasana. If you want to get your bolster, you can bring your bolster back underneath your knees. That's a nice way to settle. So I love having the bolster underneath my knees because it's really great for the back, for the hips. Oh, let go, let go. Smile, close your eyes, relax. So bring your awareness to your breath. Down to your toes. Start to move your toes, your feet. And then bending the knees, put your feet on top of the bolster if you have a bolster or on the ground. Wiggle your fingers, your hands, your wrists, your elbows. And then draw one knee at a time in, side to side, massaging your low back, checking in with your body. Bring your awareness to your eyes, to your mouth. Come onto your side. Using your hand, you're going to push yourself up. Try to keep your eyes closed and go up and down your body now with your awareness to feel your body, to see how you're feeling. Push your body weight back so you're on top of your pelvis. Hands are by the sternum bone touching. Back is nice and long. We'll close with the Om, blending the ah, o, and sounds, the vowel sounds that come through our mouth, through the human sound of an exhale. Clear your throat. Take a big exhale to make a lot of space to bring the next breath in. Inhale. Bowing your head in namaste. In gratitude for this moment, for this body, for this practice, for the way we feel right now. Namaste. Well, I know that my body feels really amazing right now. So I'm hoping that that's the same for you because, wow. So I'd love to hear from you chatting. What's really nice is people watch this recorded and then they send me messages, which is really nice as well. Hi, Martha. I thought that was you. From over there, I could kind of see the symbol. And I'm like, I think that's Martha. Anyway, I hope you guys are feeling good. I hope, I know who's here. So I know some of your issues. And when I do things, I'm definitely cognizant of, okay, I hope that's okay for so-and-so. So I hope it was okay. I think I got a little concerned with this one. Rocking back and forth and side to side, because that is a lot of trunk support, stabilizing muscles that are involved in that. And I was hoping it was okay. Yes, thank you, Carolyn. All right, so I'm off to teach one more class and then to cook a feast for the familia. All right, have a great Thanksgiving, everyone, and I will see you. I'm teaching on Saturday of Thanksgiving weekend, not Friday, but I am teaching on Saturday. So I'd love to see some of you. Thanks. Oh, I'm grateful for you too, Martha. Thank you and have a great Thanksgiving. Bye.